Hi, it's Lady Lex UK and here is another tutorial for Project Spark, and today we'll be looking at animal mounts and how to turn that into a vehicle mount for any sort of vehicle, land or water. So here we have our wolf. He's got an interact button on him. Let me press and I'm riding my wolf and I ride away, and when I get fed up with that I can press the B button again and I get off my wolf. Very easy. So let's have a look at the code. Now we have a wolf here. He's an ordinary default wolf. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some code to the top of page 1 of our wolf. Leave the rest of the code alone. We're just adding these at the top. So we say when interacted, we create an object variable called rider. And we say equals it, so that turns our player into our rider variable, and we're going to use that to position him and do things to him. Okay, then we say we set a vector variable called riding position, and we start that off in the center of our wolf, and then we say the riding position Y coordinate, that's the up and down, is going to be changed slightly because we don't want him in the center of the wolf. We want him sort of on top, so he's riding on the back. So we're going to move the Y coordinates. So we're going to move our character up a bit, which in a default wolf is 0.3. You may need to change this depending on what animal or vehicle that you've created to get him in the right position. Okay. Then we say our rider's position is the riding position that we've set, and then attach the rider to the center socket of our animal. He won't be sat at the center; he'll be sat where the riding position we put him, but he'll be attached to the socket in the middle. That's the easiest way to get him to be the correct position for when he's riding around. Then we set the rider's forward vector to be the same as the wolf, so we want him to be facing the correct way, facing the same way as the wolf. We don't want him sat on his back facing his backside. And then we say boolean ride, which we create, equals true. So we're saying, okay, we're now riding our wolf. We've pressed the B button, now we're now riding the wolf. So when we're riding the wolf, our rider emotes. Now the best thing to do here would be to create your own sitting emote. There is no sit emote as a default. The closest I could get to it with the default emotes is cower, and as you see from the example, it works okay. It's not ideal, and the best way would be to create your own emote so he looks correct sat on the back of your wolf. But if you don't have a Connect, or you don't you're doing it on a PC, then this is the closest I could get to creating a sort of sitting position. After a countdown of 8 frames, we were going to, so that the emote's got to start to go and it's just get to the correct position. Then we set our pace to 0. Now what this will do is it will stop the player from animating completely. So he'll be completely stuck in the position that he had been in at the 8th frame. And the reason we do this is because emotes have a finite length, and then there is a brief change where it does the emote a second time where the player will stand up, and that looks ridiculous on a wolf while you're riding, for it to be constantly standing up in the middle of racing. So we just want him to sit and stay there, so that's what that will do. We then turn his brain off, so we set the pace to 0 before we turn the brain off, otherwise it won't work. And then we switch to page 3. Now in a wolf, it has 2 pages. It has this wandering page and an attacking page, and the next available page is page 3. In your animal, it may be page 2, or it may be page 6 or 7, or any number. You could also use a text variable here and change it to the name of your page. But anyway, we're going to be switching to another page for when we are riding our animal. Now, just to say, for this particular animal, because it's normally hostile and normally has team 4 as a default, you need to change that to team 1, otherwise your wolf will attack you as soon as it sees you, and it would be a bit difficult to get on his back if he's biting you. So just change that to team 1 so that he doesn't attack you. Otherwise, this is exactly the same brain as in the default wolf, and that will all be good. Right, now let's have a look at our new page that we've created, the one called Ride. And we say when moving, so when the wolf is moving, we're going to create a countdown loop and toggle a boolean called bounce. Now this is only necessary for animal mounts so that he doesn't look static. If you've got something like a boat or a motorcycle or a car, you won't need the player to bounce up and down because a smooth ride is what you'll be looking for. But for an animal, it looks better if you bounce him up and down a bit. So this just toggles it backwards and forwards and moves the riding position up and down between 0.3 and 0.25, so he just bounces a little bit when the wolf is moving. And we set our rider position Y to be that riding position. Now this is the dismounting code. When B is pressed, you detach the rider, you turn the rider's brain back on, you set the rider's pace to 15. What this does is sort of fast forwards through the emote so that when you get off, you're not still sitting in the sit position or in the cower position. And then we turn the ride back to false. So when the ride is false, after 10 frames, you turn the pace back to 1. So it should fast forward enough through your emote to get to the point where you don't see it. Now if you are still seeing the emote or it's not quite right, you could change this number and you can also change this number. So just experiment with this until you get it so that you don't get the emote. And then we switch it back to page 1, which is where the wandering brain of the animal is, and that is it. Now underneath this, on this page, you need to copy and paste a third person adventurer brain and remove the interact part of, so anything below y equals shoot, you remove. Now you might actually want to remove all of these. I recommend you actually remove jump, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. Attack and shoot, you will be attacking with the wolf, that should be fine. Shoot, do you really want your wolf to be able to shoot? It's really up to you. I would remove that as well. But we've removed the interact because we're using the interact to get on and off our wolf, so you can't interact while you are actually in these vehicles or on these animals. Okay, let me just show you then. That's it, that's the whole brain. Let me just show you why jump is a problem. So we're riding our wolf and we jump, and as you can see, our player doesn't quite, there's a delay, and he doesn't delay from the jump. He does jump with the wolf, but there's a delay, and I can't seem to be able to sort that one out. So if anybody's got any great ideas of how to improve this brain for the jump, then that would be great. I've even tried it so that the player jumps, but if you make the player jump, then it sort of breaks it out of the cower emote, so he ends up not facing forward, which is a little bit of a problem. So if anybody can come up with a solution, that would be great. Otherwise, I would suggest you take jump out and not have it. Okay, so we're now off our wolf. Now I want to show you some other things that I've made using exactly the same brain. Now instead of putting a wolf, I've put it in a tuner, and I've created a little seat, and I've used a sit emote for this so that you can see what it looks like when you've actually created a proper sitting emote. So he's now riding around on his fish, and you can go up on the ground like this with your fish. And I've also made a boat using exactly the same code. Here we go, we have a little boat, and you can travel around in your little boat. And if I can get out of the water, you can see how easy it would be to make this into a little car with wheels and what have you as well. Very simple. And also anything like a motorbike or skates or anything you want to use, there's lots of options. So let me just show you how I did that, and it is very simple. We've got a little seat, and we've glued these two objects together, and we've attached them to our tuner, and that's that. And in this one, we've got a coffin, and we've made a little boat, and we've attached it to our fish, and there you have it, and made the fish invisible so we can't see it. And there you have it, and this propeller, just to see, it rolls at a speed of 60 frames per second. There we go. So there we have our little boat. Now you'll notice in this frame, instead of our riding position, I think it was 0.3 or something. It's 0.6 in this one. So you can see how you would change the number to get him in the right position. And there you have it. There are my vehicle and animal mounts. I hope you have fun trying that one out on your own levels. And please feel free to share on YouTube or post up on the Project Spark Team Club on the Xbox One. There's a thriving community there. We'd love to see your creations. Thank you for watching, and keep sparking.